Hi guys, welcome back to more Final Fantasy XIV. As you can see, we are back here in beautiful Apkalu Falls, and that can only mean one thing. We have unlocked our next Summoner quest. Now that we've progressed past Heavensward, we can now speak to our girl Ymitra again, and begin our latest upgrades. Ymitra has the most fascinating news for you. Alex, I've had the most fascinating news. You don't say. It would seem that the ruins of ancient Allag have yielded to us a tome containing unknown secrets of the summoner's art. The tome in question is currently being kept under Rambros's watchful gaze at our dig site in Mordona. I'll be heading there shortly myself, but I would not begrudge you an earlier peek. So, take yourself to St. Koenig's Find. Now, we also have got a couple of additional abilities, since with all the experience buffs that have gone on throughout Heavensward and A Realm Reborn, we're all the way to level 64. We have two abilities. One is a pet ability called Ether Pact, which casts Devotion. Whenever you pop it, it's an AoE around your pet, which gives a buff to your whole party's damage and their damage resistance, which is only a measly 2%, which is really piss poor. I don't know really why they bother with such a minuscule buff, but every little bit helps, I guess. And it also buffs any healer's healing spells, or anyone's healing spells for that matter, although unless it's coming from a healer, the healing spell usually isn't all that great. But it gives any healing spells a 5% buff whenever you pop Devotion. And also we get Further Ruin, which every time your pet scores a critical hit, it'll turn your Ruin 2 into Ruin 4, which doubles the potency. It goes from Ruin 2 is a 100 potency, Ruin 4 is a 200 potency. That is your one proc that you'll have here on this job. So let's go see Rambros real fast. And here we're going to meet one of the coolest characters we've had so far in our summoner's journeys. Now I also have the peaks and what the hell's the other? I can't even remember the names of the zones in Stormblood since I don't wander out and about in the world very often. But the first two zones I have unlocked, so I might be able to do the level 63 quest as well. But first things first. Get the ball rolling here. Hey, Rambros. I thought you might be along. Here, a prize such as this should be in your keeping. We uncovered it not terribly far from where we excavated the Evoker's attire. I have judged the tome to be some manner of manual or summoning magic, but alas, I was unable to decipher the writings. 'Tis fortunate, then, that such a task falls directly within Ymitra's field of expertise. Speaking of which, would you mind taking the book to her yourself? She sent word that she had been held up by some dreary business in Revenant's Toll. Pray do be careful. Alright, now we run back to Revenant's Toll. There she is. My apologies, a trifling but unavoidable matter prevented me from making directly for the guild site. Now shall we take a closer look at this Allegan tome? Sure. Oh my, 'tis rather more shabby than what I've come to expect from the great works of Allag, but let's not be discouraged. The content is what truly matters. A fine observation. Principia, at your service. I am a humbly familiar with the doctrine of summoning. Have we awoken a sentient tome from some ancient library? Alex, we must keep it contained. Nope. Have I somehow given offense? Strange, for I am not equipped with offensive capabilities. Imparting the art of summoning is my function, and instructional manual is my form. A manual, you say? Correct. When opened in the presence of summoners, I am bound to awaken and share with them the secrets of summoning. The young master there is in possession of an active soul crystal, yes? It was the soul crystal that awoke you. Correct. Only one who carries a soul crystal and has bathed in the ether of an icon may wield the powers of a summoner. I sensed one worthy of instruction and was thus compelled to introduce myself. Icon. That is the Allegan word for primal. Excuse my need to clarify the obvious, but you are a construct created to teach summoning magics to any potential student you encounter. Why would the ancients have deemed such a thing necessary? Summoning came into being for the purpose of eliminating beings, specifically those beings known as icons, primals. Once these entities have all been vanquished, however, new Eggi cannot be harnessed. Old summoners perish, and so too does their art. It was upon glimpsing this bleak future that a certain master summoner set about crafting yours truly. Inscribed with arts of tremendous power, I exist to teach others how to safeguard their existence. Fascinating. Your creation speaks to the heart of the discipline's rarity. Summoning harnesses the power of primals for the sole purpose of destroying them, and new summoners arise only in an age when primals are rife. With the absence of living mentors, a true succession of the art is never achieved. Principia, are you then to instruct Alex in the lost secrets of Allag? I am eager to oblige, but there are certain obligations. Ere the seal upon my higher knowledge can be unlocked, the student must first overcome the 3 challenges I am ensorcelled to present. Well, that's the first time I've ever heard that word anywhere, ever. Well, considering how it refers to primals as icons, I'm inclined to believe that we have an authentic Allegan relic on our hands. What say you, Alex? Will you undertake these challenges? As if you have the option to say no. Of course. The first challenge is a test of power. This trial is designed to evaluate the raw magnitude of your arcane talent by pitting you against a predetermined opponent of carefully measured fortitude, also known as I manifest a monster and you fight it. Mayhem not terribly wise to attempt that in the middle of town. Why don't we find ourselves a less populated area out near the Singing Shards? Yeah. Where they wouldn't let us summon Ramu Eggi. Now, as you may have guessed, the entire 60 to 70 Summoner quest line revolves around our new buddy Principia here. Much like how the Heavensward batch revolved around, what was it, Dancing Wolf? Something Wolf. The, Immortal Flames dude. Oh, damn. Was it up top? Yep. Shall we begin the test of power, Master? Master? You treat your pupil as a superior, Principia? Such was the way in which I was written. Ah, and if my full name begins to tire your tongue, you are welcome to call me Prin or Pia. Ooh, I rather like Prin. I mean, let us proceed with the challenge. And as you may have guessed, just go ahead and mow this dude on down. A crushing victory. Who could argue the potential of modern summoning after that display? You have bested the first challenge, Master. There are few summoners in Aleg's long history who boasted this degree of native might. Furthermore, you have achieved such potency through nothing but the study of ancient wisdom is simply astonishing. With a little polish to your technique, guiding you to loftier heights of power should be astonishingly simple. I thought Alex's technique more than sufficiently polished, but you say there is room for improvement? I see we shall have to adjust our yomstick for perfection if we are to rival the practitioners of the past. Indeed, if you would know more of past practices, then you need only ask. Actually, I do have a question for you, if you would indulge me, Alex. Prin, in which age were you created? You appear to lack the technological advancements that were predominant in constructs in the latter days of Aleg's civilization. Another excellent observation. I was penned by Master Sari, a preeminent summoner of his time. He was, in fact, likely the last Master Summoner of the Allegan Empire's reign. Were I to date myself by your culture's notion of history, my creation would have taken place at a point just before the Empire's collapse. In other words, solidly within the richest era of etherochemical discovery. One might reasonably wonder why this wonderful science was excluded from my invention, and I assure you there is a reason. In the beginning, the Allegans rose to superiority through their mastery of magecraft. It is told that the very first wielders of summoning magic made do with grimoires fashioned of leather and ink and parchment. There came a tipping point, however, when the mundane sciences began to progress with ever-growing rapidity. These advances were married with the arcane, and etherochemical technology was born. Even as the harnessing of lightning energies gave rise to new recording mediums, techniques were developed that allowed complex arcane geometries to be instantly plotted. Traditional grimoires were replaced by devastatingly efficient and elegant weapons. The convenience of these tools, however, did not lend themselves well to the instruction of initiates. Beyond such considerations, the new mediums could not be perused without dedicated machinery, and their manufacture was no simple matter. And so the summoner who breathed life into you decided that tomestones and the like were not the ideal method for passing on his accumulated wisdom. Correct. He chose for me the primitive form of a book, and inscribed within my pages a bounty of potent incantations that required no machine to be cast. Thank you, Prin. I thought only to satisfy my academic curiosity, but I found myself swept up in your description of the past. You truly are the creation of an incredible age. And thank you for your patience, Alex. Shall we return to Gridania? Yep. Back to Outkalu Falls. And an endless load screen first. Okay. Must be a whole bunch of people all grouped up in Gridania. Well, then again, with the world visit system, in all three major cities, there's constantly just clogged with people because they're jumping from server to server. Which is gonna make me never go to the cities unless I absolutely have to. Unfortunately, this game tries to force you into the cities constantly. But at least I know, as you can see over here, I'm at what used to be Reborn Extreme when Stormblood first came out. That quest ate up my entire early access time. We had early access for, what, 4 days? And it was like the end of the third day when I finally was able to get into that damn duty. With everybody trying to do it, it just blew up every server constantly. No one could get through unless they were damn lucky. But anyway, well done, Alex. We are one step closer to revealing a new secret of ancient Allag. Prin will issue the next challenge after you've had the chance to review your studies and hone your abilities to a new level of perfection. I've decided to keep the familiar here at my side for the moment. Even with as many wonders as Eorzea holds, folk tend to panic at the sight of a fanged tome that jumps around of its own accord. Oh, and pay no mind to Captain Wolf. Yeah, it is Dancing Wolf, okay. He obviously wishes to secure my services for some task or another, but we have more important matters to attend to. I do believe we should be able to take on the next quest. But anyway, we have met Prin. Now, I am a lot disappointed. Prin would make a perfect minion. A perfect minion for when you complete the level 70 Summoner quest. It ought to give you Principia as a minion to clomp around behind you everywhere. But of course, we get nothing of the sort. Ymitria asks that you lend an ear to Principia. Greetings, Alex. 'Twould seem that Prin would speak with us about the second challenge. Congratulations, Master. You are sufficiently prepared to undertake the next test. Excuse me, Prin, but how can you tell? By analyzing the patterns of Master's ethereal emanations, I can gauge the strength and precision of his recently cast incantations. Of course, Master must attempt the challenge itself before I can provide an evaluation to the proper degree of accuracy. This will be a test of skill. To administer this trial under the prescribed conditions, however, I must request the assistance of several more summoners to play the role of antagonists. Several more summoners? In this day and age, that will be no easy feat to arrange. Come now, Ymitria, the solution is right under your nose. Alex, your deeds have caught the attention of the highest echelons of the Flames. After learning what you're capable of, we've begun an initiative to take our very own summoners into battle against the Primals. A number of soldiers under my command have already begun intensive training. I handpicked veteran survivors of our expedition against Ifrit, and they've been issued with soul crystals we claimed from the Asians. When did you claim a bunch of soul crystals from Asians? I mean, I don't remember beating the shit out of that one. Anyway, I and Captain Wolf has been howling in my ear for days, begging to enlist your aid as some kind of drill instructor for the ethereally gifted. But now you're in need of summoners for this trial of yours, yes? I am prepared to offer my regiment's full cooperation. All I ask in return is a few morsels of advice for the acolytes. It seems to me a fair trade, and my enchantments do not restrict me from instructing neophyte summoners in the fundamentals of the art. Very well, I suppose such an arrangement could prove convenient for us all. I knew you'd come around. Meet me at Camp Blue Fog, now Blue Frog, and I'll assemble the troops for inspection. Alright, Northern Thanolin. There they are. 3 of them. Crispin, Denise, and Jajasamu. Looks like we're all here. Let's get on with the briefing, shall we? As you command, this second challenge will evaluate the elegance of your technique as opposed to the magnitude of your miasma. First, I shall infuse the Eggy of your opponents with secondary enchantments, and then you are to engage the entities in combat. Print explained to me that the enchantments store the ether expended during the battle and allow for an in-depth analysis of your flare for death flares, as it were. In any case, I expect you'll pass with flying colors. Right, I suppose you should know who you're up against. Designation and rank. Summoner Crispin, Private First Class. We're grateful for aught you can teach us, sir. Summoner Denise, Sergeant. I'm new to spellcasting, but I've seen my share of combat, sir. Crispin and I are to fight you as a pair. Summoner Jajasamu, Lieutenant. You've more than a few admirers in the barracks, Alex, sir, but that don't mean we'll go easy on ye. Goddamn accents. Enough chatter. Quick march to the training ground. Give the word to Crispin and Denise when you're ready to battle their Iggy, Alex. After that, you'll be facing off against the Lieutenant's beast. You won't be attacking my troops directly, so give it all you've got. Alrighty. Let's head out. Which one's closer? Okay. There they are. Prepare yourself, sir. Denise and I will now summon our servants to battle. I, a pair of Ifrit Eggy for you. Oh, I suppose, okay. Ah, wrong. You finished warming up on them embers then, 'cause even together me mates Eggy don't hold a candle to the inferno I can summon. Right, let's bring the flames. Alright. And there's that further ruin proc. And further ruins up again. You can tell by the top of your screen whenever it procs, as well as the floating buff, it'll come up, further ruin, and then up there at the top of the screen it will show up next to your you see up there your ether flow? Right next to it you'll get the buff icon for Ruin 4, which will tip you off that it's procced and you can use it. Anyway, what's Jajasamu got to say now? Alright. I had hopes for that one, but you snuffed him out right quick. Not much of a trial, eh? Well then, you're lucky I fought another primal during me time with the company of heroes. You're not the only summoner that as can command more than one ethereal beastie. Say hello to your final opponent, Titan Iggy. Alright, well. And we'll start right off with our Ruin 4. What the fuck? For some reason it just dropped target inexplicably. Or did I not target him to begin with? And there's that Ruin 4 proc again. And no need to... Well, ruin 4 again. Hammer him down with it. And as they file over... I hope my summoners put up enough of a fight for you. Anyway, shall we hear what the book has to say? Principia, I have ruminated upon the swirls and echoes of your battle, and the picture is clear. Your technique is, without a doubt, a thing of exquisite beauty. Consider the second challenge conquered. Well, that's good news, if hardly surprising. After all, you did sweep through those eggy like a storm through a field of dandelions. Me thanks. You've opened me eyes. Oh, God. I can't stand that accent. I see I've some work to do before I've truly mastered this discipline. I'm glad to know we've been of service. Now we really must be returning to Gridania. Back to beautiful Apkallu Falls. Thank you, sir. This was truly an enriching experience. Aye, pray train with us again in the future. All right. And that's that. Now we got 3 new buddies to help us out on our summoner quests. Kind of growing our own private posse of summoners here. Here we go with the endless load screen again. Alrighty. And I think the next quest is at level 56, or 66, I think. Not entirely certain, though. Congratulations, Alex. With your impressive demonstrations of power and skill, you have already conquered 2 of Prin's 3 challenges. Ere we come to the final trial, however, Prin would further our education on Allegan summoning. First, I would ask what you know of the rise and fall of summoning in the Allegan Empire. I was made to cover rather a lot of history, you understand. From our research, we have learned that summoners were initially lauded as heroes for their success against the primals. When certain of these mages began to abuse the art's power for personal gain, however, the adoration of the populace shifted toward an oppressive hatred. Correct. We speak now of the latter half of the Third Astral Era. My creator, Master Sari, was one of those who expended his energies on the destruction of primals, even as he fled from the relentless persecution. Alongside his disciples, he triumphed over Belias and many other lesser entities. Belias, that was the name of the elder primal from whom Tristan once drew power. Master Sari must have been mighty indeed to defeat such a foe. Yet he still knew fear. The thought that the grand discipline of summoning would fade into oblivion was more than Master Sari could bear, and so he sought to preserve its legacy and provide for his successors. My creator was well versed in etherochemistry and held a particular interest in the technology of information. Broadly speaking, he researched methods for producing arcane geometries without grimoires, and experimented with machine-enhanced Egi. That just sounds like a bad idea. Haven't you ever seen any of the Terminator movies? Start fucking around with machine... Well, anyway, he eventually abandoned both of these technologies, deeming them unsuitable for the instruction of future generations. Hoping to provide guidance to those summoners yet unborn, he instead began writing and chanting a work that would survive down the ages. He made me. Such an accomplished personage. Why, then, have I seen but scant mention of his name in Alleg's histories? As you have said yourself, it was an age when the adulation of summoners experienced an extreme reversal. It is likely that Master Sari's achievements were struck from the records, even as his loyal pupils were struck down in the streets. I was shut in a storeroom, abandoned to my slumber like some common treatise on trade agreements in the southern provinces, and thus I can tell you naught of what befell my creator in his later years. I expected a dry recital on the history of summoning, but you shared with us your personal narrative. It is clear you hold a great deal of respect for Master Sari. I am a familiar. I simply relay information as I was enspelled. This lecture is now over. As you wish, Prin. Well, Alex, would seem class is dismissed for the moment. I suggest you recuperate from this day's trial and look toward preparing yourself for the final challenge. Yeah, it's got to be level 66 is the next one. No, level 65. So one more level and we'll be able to take on our third Stormblood Summoner quest. Oh, and you can also get a couple more tidbits out of Principia here. One last challenge remains. Pray win through this trial, lest the higher knowledge I hoard remain lost. Alright. So there you go. We've got our new summoner posse to help us out. We've got our buddy Prin here to instruct us, and we are well on our way. So I will continue the main story, get to level 65, and I'll come back here for the next quest at that point. Until then, take care.